are you doing back?
I didn't stay away too long.
Yeah.
You alright?
Don't know, we might not invite you back in here.
Who wants to start? Kick us off? Come up from Sky.
Hi there.
Just starting with team news, do you have any updates?
No, I think most of the players are fine. We've got Mickey Antonio's had a wee bit of the cold or the flu, maybe whatever it is, which has kept him out of training a day or two. So we're a little bit unsure on him. We've got a couple of knocks and niggles, but hopefully we'll be okay.
And has your back-to-back wins in Europa League, Europa Conference League, given you more confidence in the Premier League after a difficult start?
I think every win you get builds confidence in wherever you play. So, whether it comes in the Conference League or the Premier League, I think everything helps, and you're trying to get a bit of consistency into your play and consistency into your results. And thankfully, we've been getting a few wins recently, which has been really good.
And you're not afraid to change the squad for European games. Do you notice an increased level of competition amongst the squad?
Well, we want a real competition here, and I think we have at the moment. I think we're beginning to get an even stronger group of players, which I think have been doing well. Last year it worked incredibly well for us in the group stages, where we were able to change maybe half the team or so. I think when it really got tough was when we started to get to the likes of the quarterfinals and the semis, where you were having to play, a lot of the players who were also playing on a Sunday as well. That became tough. But at the moment, we've got ourselves in a good position in the group. We want to maintain it. We want to qualify first and foremost, but even better than that would be to win the group, because it would knock a couple of games off. But look, I think there is good competition, and we want everybody to be involved in it.
And if you win tomorrow, how pleased will you be to be through early? And do you see yourself rotating the squad going forward?
Well, I think really I'm answering that again a little bit, but I'm saying is, I do see us continuing to rotate the squad, because I think that's what we've got, and I think we've got players at different times who can come in. Sometimes injuries change your thinking. If you have an injury or illness, it can make you play other players again. But ideally, if we can try and win the group, it would be great. But as I said before, if we could qualify for Europe after Christmas time again, then that would be a decent thing done.
Lovely. Yeah. David, a little bit about your opponents, because obviously you've played them and you've got the win. What did you learn from the reverse fixture that you can take into this one?
Look, the game overall was pretty tight. I think I felt in the end we probably just a bit shaded the victory, but I've got to say the game was tight. The goalkeeper had to make a good save in the last minute, or it could have been easily one each in the game. But I thought we'd have enough chances in the game to have probably scored others. So I think the biggest thing for us is to continue try and make the chances, see if we can get clean cut finishes, which would make our job a little bit easier. But I think Anderlecht played well. I think we've got a group where Silkeborg are showing their ability to win. But we've got 2 games at home now in the group, and we know that if we could probably win one of them, then it'll probably make us qualify. So we've got to try and let that happen.
You mentioned about that fixture congestion. Being able to win the group would really aid your cause, wouldn't it, in that regard?
Well, it would. I think when you look at, the week after or so, I think we've got a game Monday, Thursday, Sunday, which sounds incredibly ridiculous, but that's the way the fixture list has got it.
And a little bit about how results have picked up, because I'm sure you haven't changed too much, but is it a case of players perhaps bedding in and understanding your style and requirements?
Yeah, I think all of those things come into it. It can happen. You can have a slow start, you can get off to a great start, and it can change around. We don't feel as if we started as well as we should have done. For whatever reason, we felt as if we had a good pre-season. I didn't think we felt as if we played well in the games in pre-season, which is probably was a continuation into it. But I think we're getting ourselves together. The new players, as you referred to there, are all getting more acquainted with us, understanding what we want. We're understanding them as well. And I think we're beginning to get some results, so hopefully that keeps growing.
And one final point, there was a real positive, wasn't there, within the Fulham game, because they started well, the team then came into it, and there was almost that belief that you could go on and win the game.
Yeah.
That must be nice to see.
Well, I've sensed the belief coming back through training, and what I'm seeing in training. I'm seeing an awful lot of things which I'm going, yeah, this is looking good and it's going in the right direction. So I'm hoping I'm right in what I'm observing. The Fulham game was actually for me a bit of a shock that we got off to such a poor start, because I didn't see that coming actually. But the big thing was we fought back. We ended up getting a good victory at home.
Great, thanks, David.
Just following on from that, you say you're sensing something in training. Do you feel ready? It's going to be a congested period between now and the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel ready to go on a bit of a charge?
Yeah. Well, I think I mean I don't understand. Me corrected if I'm wrong, but I think we're 1-5 out of 6 at the moment. So sometimes that goes amiss a little bit as well. So you're saying, are we ready to go on a charge? Maybe we are on one at the moment, and maybe you're only going to pick up on it when it gets further down the line, because it's difficult to accept when you've not started the season so well. So look, we're beginning to go in the right direction. We're beginning to see signs of a lot of the new players doing really well. We're seeing better signs of the players who've played so well for 2 years just beginning to find a little bit of form, whether it be goals, whether it be their general play. And we'd missed Doss for the first month of the season at the back. We bring Nathan Agard in, who's been injured since the start. So there's one or two things maybe not quite gone the way we want it, but we've tried to get on with it, and hopefully we're back on course now.
And the Monday, Thursday, Sunday, which you mentioned, you've spoken to anyone about that?
Yeah, we have. I think we've tried to do something about it, but you're talking about. I would say then, if you were, educated people, you would say, well, of course we're not going to try. It is a congested programme as it is, but surely you would try and make that not as congested as that period. So not only are we in a congested period, but then they're asking us to do it even more and squeezing in a game in when we could have easily played on the Sunday, easily.
And just on Angelo, who was going to speak afterwards, it's coming up to a year since he had that injury. How impressed were you being since he came back? Because to get that injury at his age is...
Yeah, it's really... if you think of it, at the time when we lost Angelo, I think we were in the top 2 or 3 in the league. Angelo was in great form, playing alongside Kurt. We probably had, if we've been honest, we probably had our best form at that period. And it was maybe once we lost Angelo that it started to dip a little bit in certain ways. He gave us sort of left-sided balance at the time, and it just didn't feel quite as good after. So look, it's a big injury to come back from for any player, but I think when you're 33, 34 as he is now, it's even tougher. So he's doing really well. He's doing well. I think he's been on course. His schedule's pretty good. I think he can still go again. I think he's probably got a little bit more to go. I think he's still probably trying to play on his way into it a little bit. But fortunately, these sort of games have helped a little bit. They've given us a chance to get him some good games. It's better these than maybe under 23 games for him at the moment. And we're trying to get him ready to participate for the first team in all the games.
Are you getting the taste for another European run, David? Because last season it looked from quite a long way out that you were going to go deep into the Europa League. Do you sense that the players and the fans and the whole club's getting the taste for another one?
Yeah, I think somebody said to me the other day we might have played as many European games as any club. Now, obviously, we'd like to be in the Champions League, so we're referring. But the point is, I think, so from that point of view, West Ham, who didn't have European football for such a long time, I actually said in my programme notes last week, I think that sometimes you mustn't forget what we've got, and you have to embrace it and enjoy it and take it on. And yeah, I'm not moaning about it, but I'm saying, Thursday, Sunday's not easy, and I'm sure everybody's aware of that. Whatever club's in it in any league in Europe has a problem with that fixture list. But I think for us at West Ham, I think it's a great thing, and we should never take it for granted, because it might not always be there. But I see us now maybe saying, come on then, we've started at the back of the pack, and we'll get a lot of horses to pass on the way going forward, and let's start picking them off and see if we can get ourselves back up to that position.
Do you think on the Monday, Thursday, Sunday nonsense that some people who run the game lose sight of the fact that there is a World Cup coming up in 6 weeks, and you've got England players in your squad who, the last thing that England and the people who run English football want is for England players to get cropped because they're cramming so too many games into a short space of time.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be so disrespectful and only just to mention England. You know, you think we've got centre forward, we've got other players. I was going to say centre forwards, Italy aren't going there, but we've got the likes of Paqueta and we've got the likes of Tilo going with Germany. So, no, we've got international boys who are going to go, and we're actually saying now is, you know, we've got so many games, and we're excited by the games because it's great for us here at West Ham. But then when there's a week, you're saying, I don't quite understand why you wouldn't just change that game back to the Sunday. And now obviously it's probably to do with television rights and that. And we're very fortunate because a lot of the money which comes into football comes through television. So I'm not being overly critical of it, but I just think that there's a bit of common sense could have easily taken place there and maybe got the game on the right day.
I just wanted to ask you about Scamacca because it started to seem quite slow. I know partly due to his illness, but how impressed have you been with his progression, scoring goals in all competitions for you now? He's proven to be quite the beast that West Ham fans wanted him to be.
Well, I think I have been impressed by him from day one. I remember, I think he's probably the first press conference I came in and I said, well, I've seen things and I'm going, I hope what I'm seeing is correct here. And some of the stuff he's done is really good. I've really enjoyed him. But he picked up a virus and he wasn't in a physical enough condition. I think the way the contract talks went on, it took a long time. He missed a lot of days training, so it's taken us a little bit of time just to get him going. And I think it's going to take a lot longer for us to see the real best of him. But I think at the moment, the version we've got of him at the moment is doing a really good job. We like him. He probably had 2 headers on Saturday. The shot he put past the post, he scores 1 as well. So, you know, on the day, you know, he could have maybe had 2 or 3 on the day. So I just hope that he keeps getting those opportunities and those chances.
With those statement signs, David, of the likes of Tilo Kehrer, Emerson, Kenzo and Scamacca, do you think that was the only thing that was missing from the Europa League run last season, just that bit of experience in the European competitions?
I don't know if it was quite experience in European competitions because, you know, we've got within a game or a goal near enough of being in the final. But I think what we've tried to do is we tried to add a group of players who we felt would help us in the Premier League in time. We also felt that, you know, if we're going to have another run in Europe, and this year it's the Conference League, then we're going to need more players and probably more players of international quality as well. And we've gone and got quite a few of them in. I think what we've got to do is try and give them some opportunity to settle in. I think they are. I think we're just beginning to see them, and I've got to say that every one of them is really good characters. That's the bit which impressed me more than anything. Is really good boys, want to do the work, want to be part of the team, want to be part of the way West Ham have been over the last couple of years.
Have you seen an instant increase in the training level since they've come in?
Yes, and no, because they might need to step up to us. They might need to step up to the intensity I want at West Ham, and that might be one of the bits that we're missing. But if you're talking about quality, well, undoubtedly I'm seeing a different level of quality, but I'm still looking for those players to get to the intense levels which we expect and what we're looking for and what the Premier League sort of drives.
Chanty.
David, I just wanted to ask about Manuel Lanzini. So far this season, in this competition, you've often used him in a bit more of an 8 rather than 10.
Yeah.
With the squad you've got now and the players you've brought in, do you think that's the sort of position where he's going to get more minutes this season?
I actually think it's probably where he's probably a better player now. I think if you remember when we played Burnley a couple of years ago, he played really well up at Burnley. We played him as a midfield player. I think Thomas or Declan was out. It might have been Declan out. He played alongside Thomas that night. He played really well as a central midfield player. I actually think at the moment that's probably where he's playing a little bit behind the ball at the moment rather than maybe playing a bit ahead of the ball. So I would still play him in both positions, but I just see him as helping me build the play a little bit better from deeper now. And look, he's been great for the club and he's been really good for me in the time here, and I like him as a player, I really do like him. But we're got lots of players in the competition and we need them to start coming up with some goals for us and creating some assists as well.
I just wanted to ask on Agard and Cornea, obviously both out of injured. What is the latest and how far?
Agard is, you've probably seen Agard's beginning to make his way. He's doing quite a bit out in the grass. I'm hoping maybe next week he might join bits of the football. That's the plan if we can. So look, he's a pretty good specimen. So he's one that I might try and push on quite quickly if the ankles, and I'm getting the permission to do so, I might try and push him on quite quickly. But ultimately, we're still trying to get him. We'd need to get him maybe a couple under 23 games and stuff like that as well. So that's part of it. Maxey had a small calf strain. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. Maybe the middle of next week we could maybe try and see if he's going to get back out on the pitches with a bit of luck.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.